Are you ready to create a coloring book for your business so that you can bust through the limitations of your local market by grabbing emails of people from all around the world, building your brand, and even creating a passive income stream so that your business can get through the hardest of times? If you're ready to do that, this is the video for you. I'm going to walk you through 7 very simple steps, most of them free. Some of them might require a charge as little as $2 or $5, and you might want to try a free trial or two. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to help you build that coloring book today. So that way you're not limited by your local business. And just a quick note, I'm jumping in, different outfit, different day. I was in the middle of editing this and I realized I didn't mention a very important point before we get started. That point is, why should you do a coloring book for your business? Besides the things that I just mentioned, one of the main reasons you should do a coloring book for your business is because it can tell the story of your business without words. And if you can tell the story of your business, you make a personal, emotional connection with your customers, with your clientele, and that is going to make you special in their eyes. So if you're a restaurant, creating the coloring book that tells the story of your restaurant, maybe going back to grandma's recipes or the dream that you followed to open that restaurant, that's something that somebody can connect with. And you can put words in yours. I put words in mine. At this point in time, I have actually finished my coloring book. So at the end, I will show you kind of what I did for my brand. Real quick too, like say you're in the construction industry and you don't really have a story to tell about your business. Maybe there's something visual that you can give your customers with a coloring book. For a construction company, doing a project book in a coloring book format would be an excellent way to not only show your clients like, hey, check out these projects I did for other people, but with them in black and white, they can basically look at that and go, ooh, I like that idea. I want that in my house. If that's what it would look like, this is great. They would take the coloring page, they would color it in, and they would get an idea of, okay, this would totally work. I love the way this works. You'd basically be showing them what you can do while also allowing them to be creative and communicate with you better, because then they show you in the coloring book exactly how they would want that. So it can be a great thing for like a construction company. It could be a great thing for a restaurant. If you are in the retail industry, you have to think, is there some visual aspect for the coloring book? Different outfits, different shoes. Is there a story you can tell there? If it was your own business and you created it, you could do different images of the clothes you're selling on different models and put them in like different cities around the world. In this video today, I'm going to show you how to take other people's works and how to turn them into coloring book pages. Finally, the last thing I want to say real quick is I was watching a YouTuber who does coloring books and he made an excellent point. His point was that if you want to crush the competition in your book publishing market, which you probably don't because you're a small business, you've got other things to do. But what he said was you should consider creating 3 different products at once in the low content, medium content, high content, and publish them all at the same time, because then they will cross-sell each other. Once you sell one book, the people are going to look at what else you have and they will see the other stuff you have. And creating a coloring book, creating a low content book, super easy. You can do them really fast. And even the high content book that I'm going to do later on this month, I'm going to show you how to write a book in about an hour, 2 hours, and how simple it is. So just think of that, 3 books that cross-sell each other, that all promote your brand, and that all have your business information in it. So let's go ahead and get into making a coloring book. Determining your pages and the size of your book. The first thing we want to do is want to figure out how many images do you actually need for your coloring book. So I'm taking you over to Amazon again. If you watched my other video the other day, you should know that I have BookBeam installed. Looking at these books, I can see right from the front page, this one has 110 pages, this has 104 pages, this has 88 pages, 90 pages, 103 pages. That does not mean images. That means number of pages. It's basically half of that or a little bit less, because a lot of them have intro pages that help push their brand, which is what you want to do as a business owner. If you have a 110-page book, you're looking at about 55 images. If you have a 100-page book, you're looking at 50 images. If you're doing 88, like this one is here, this one is number 598 in all books, and they're making $416 a day in royalties with only 88 pages. That kind of gives you an idea that, okay, I only need like 44 images minimum, up to say 50, 55 images. That's all you need. So that's where we're going to start there. The other thing too is a lot of them are only 8.5 by 8.5. The very popular ones right now are 8.5 by 8.5, but you can also do 8.5 by 11, which is the standard Word document when you open Word. So decide how many images you need and decide which format you want to do before you get started. For me, to brand the flight attendant side of my life, I am looking at roughly 50 images, and I'm doing an 8.5 by 8.5. Let's get some free and cheap images. And I'm going to show you 2 ways to do that for super cheap. One of them is creativefabrica.com. If you come to Creative Fabrica, they will actually give you whole packets of images, as much as 100 images per download to 200 images per download, simply by becoming a member. Now check this out. The free trial right here says that you can download 10 premium products for free. So if each of those products had 100 images, you could easily download 1,000 images for free without ever actually signing up for anything. I actually went ahead and paid for their all access yearly pass because it was only $3.99 a month, which came out to $47. Let me just show you real quick. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to type in coloring books. So here are some coloring book images, and look at this. 220 pages with 40 covers. This one has 40 pages, and look at the prices. $1.50, $2. Keep in mind, the people that created these, they're generally from other countries. So getting $15 or $20 for 100 images can often be really good money to them. Now, one of the things you want to do is you want to come down here and you want to look at the description. You don't want to use AI generated images, and they are supposed to tell you in this description here somewhere if it is an AI generated image or not. See, this is AI generated coloring pages. I'm not comfortable using AI generated coloring pages because it's generally scraping it from someone else's work. If it's scraping it from their own work, then that's great. But you don't always know, and you could get tagged for plagiarism issues because people are finding their artwork in AI generated work. So anything that says AI generated work, I would definitely skip. Now, another thing you can look at is you can actually see who the artist is here. You can see their profile, you can follow their design. So if you find an artist you like that doesn't do AI generated work, you can actually follow them and get more of their artwork as it comes out. The other thing to keep in mind about Creative Fabrica is that a lot of coloring book creators are using their images. So your images aren't going to be original. They are going to be in other people's coloring books as well. I'm going to show you how to modify them so that they are original. So just come in here and find styles that you like, and then just go ahead and download them. And I'll show you how we can alter those later on in the video. Now, having said that about Creative Fabrica, after the first video that I recorded about how to make a coloring book, a video came out within 24 hours that an Etsy staff member made, who said that 2 of their content creators who were selling coloring books on Etsy were being sued by the artists because they got their images from Creative Fabrica. Basically, from what I can tell, the artists who generally sign up and create their own profile, I believe, pulled out of Creative Fabrica and they wanted their images back. Creative Fabrica's policy on this is basically like, we're not doing anything to help you either way. They didn't do anything for the content creators. They didn't do anything to the content creators. It's all kind of an at your own risk kind of thing. The original artist ended up suing 2 of the content creators within a very short period, and both of those content creators contacted Etsy, which is how this Etsy staff member found out. A lawyer reached out to them and said, if you want to continue using the images, you have to pay us $650. We will settle this for $650. If you don't settle it for $650, we will take you to court and we will sue you for $1,200. Now, that may scare you. I did the math. A lot of these coloring books are making hundreds and even thousands of dollars a month. So basically, if I were to get sued by an artist from Creative Fabrica, I would probably just go ahead and pay whatever amount that they were asking me to pay. If they were asking for more money than that, like thousands of dollars, then I could remove the book from publishing and find a different amount to settle for. But considering the small amount that they asked for, $650 for probably 50 images, I would probably just pay them and then try to work out a deal with them where I could continue to use them in the future. Because now you know you like their art style and they know that you're going to pay, so it could work out. It could be a win-win situation for both of you. But just in case you don't want to work with Creative Fabrica because of that, let's go ahead and look at another way to get images for very cheap. The next method that I would use to get images for very cheap is to commission the images. This is a little bit better if you're building your own brand because you can actually use your logo, you can use images that are tied in with your business, you could create the story of your business, and you can start pulling images, pulling pictures, pulling things from your life, from your business, from your history to custom create images. Now, if you look here real quick, I'm at Fiverr.com. I put in coloring book pages and I got some results here. And as you scroll down to here, what you can see is I will turn and convert your picture into coloring book pages for $5. I will create cute line art for coloring book pages for $5. I will convert any photo into coloring book pages. And I did open each of these so you could see exactly what it is they're offering. Over here, you can kind of see one character, one simple background, book cover, or page. And this is that really kind of popular style that's going on right now, the fuzzy, the higgy, the cozy kind of stuff. If you come down, you'll generally see more about what their actual project is. If you do the math and you're thinking, well, $5 times 50 images, that's $250. I don't want to spend that much. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to spend that much. I just want to give you some ideas. All you really need is 10 images, and I will show you why in a bit. Now, this guy right here, one simple image having only one person tracing, no complex tracing work. But if you come down here, he says, you can contact me for a custom complete coloring book for 20 to 30 pages. I also provide service for coloring book cover page. I'm going to show you how to do something like this yourself because that is the next step that we're going to do. This one, 5 coloring pages designed for $10. Again, this is that style that's very popular right now. They're saying you can do it for PDFs, KDP, Etsy. So for $10, you're getting 5 designs. And that basically breaks down to $2 a piece. Again, that's not too bad. Let me show you what I did though. I have my avatars. Now, just to give you an idea of this real quick, I bought these about 12 years ago, these 2D images, and I got them from Upwork, although it wasn't called Upwork 12 years ago. These were images that I bought to build my brand. This number 1 stood for 1 Hour Bookkeeper because that was my blog. I had the 007 put on her chest when I started writing romantic comedies. Number 2 is supposed to be for my husband. That was for another book that I did. I thought it was funny to put the family on it. One of my first books had my mom on it, so this was her avatar that I had created for her, and it was all from the same artist. Then you can see these images right here, they're 3D. I'm going to show you how I did that as 3D. But basically, I paid for all of these images from an artist. I generally paid about $25 a piece. And again, these were like 12 years ago. But I have since taken these images and I've started turning them into 3D images. I've done this myself and it's allowed me to do my own brand of images simply because I have created my own AI filter. So these are not AI generated artwork from thin air, from nothing. It's not stealing somebody else's artwork. It's taking artwork that I already own the rights to, and it's putting it into 3D. It's adding a background, it's adding different features, but it's sticking to my brand, which is what I wanted. Creating an AI filter. I'm coming over to design.ai. I believe I am an affiliate now. I will have to look it up. If I'm an affiliate, I will put the link down in the bottom. But I just want to show you some of the things that you can do. I have been using this to create my own coloring book, and I have been using it to turn pictures that I've found into basically coloring book pages. I know these are colored in, and they're generally not perfect because the AI filter, it's going to try to get as close as it can to the image that you give it, but you can actually have it really mess up the image or really make the image clear. You're going to have to generate a lot of images. As you can see, I've generated a lot of images trying to get the picture of this sculpture. The more complicated the picture it is, the harder it is for the AI filter to actually make something that is recognizable. Keep that in mind. Basically, what you're going to do is you want to create your own filter. Let me show you by starting a new project. I'm in a new project now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go image to image. You see where it says no style here? Any picture you upload, let's see if I can find a picture. These are some pictures that I've been working on for my coloring book. I wanted to turn pictures of food into coloring book pages. Basically what I did was I looked on the internet for free images of things around Chicago because Chicago is the style that I'm going for. I'm just going to go ahead and use this as an example. So you put this in here, and then what you can do is you can come over here, and there are existing coloring book styles already in here. So if you don't want to pay for any images, if you don't want to get them from Fiverr, or you don't want to get them from Fabrica, if you can find free images or just take pictures of your business, you can actually come over here and put it into one of these coloring book styles. I'm going to do whimsical coloring. And basically what I'm doing is the picture is in, I'm going to have it describe the canvas, and that always takes a minute or so. Now it's got the description in. You can read it. You can alter this description. I'm just going to put in front of it coloring book page of a couple, and let me put black and white. Now, it's not always going to give you a black and white image. Right here, what we have is style intensity and structure match. These are the two things that you want to adjust. Structure match is how much do you want it to look like the picture. The more you want it to look like the picture, the more to the right you move it. And I usually keep it about 1 point down from the very end. The style intensity is how much like the original artist that you picked, how much of it do you want it to look like their work? And just to show you real quick, we have picked this one. I'm going to generate one very much like the artist, but I tend to go about halfway down and then I go really weak, like in one of these 1 or 2 ranges, and I'll generate it again. And I do 3 at a time. I do have the subscription to this, the second subscription, not the basic one, just because it allows me to generate 3 different sets of images at a time. As you can see over here, it's going to be 4 sets of images. I think I can actually do up to 5 at a time. And then after that, it prompts me for the next subscription if I want to do more than that at a time. I'm going to scroll over these so you can see them. You can see the different images, and it's more in the style that the artist has chosen. These are very nice. They're nice coloring book pages, and I would probably use those if I were doing a coloring book of Paris. Here's one that's weaker, and you can see some of the color is in. Look at, they also added leaves. And this one, they added clouds. It's trying to basically mimic the style, but give it a little bit more like the original artist. And then here is one that's almost identical. You see that? Down to the striped suits and everything. These 4 are from the weakest image. And it's closest to the photograph, but now it's in a coloring book style. Now you may be thinking, but wait a minute. That's in color. You need it in black and white for a coloring book image. No problem. I'm going to show you how to do that in just a minute. But before I do that, let me show you the next step, how to create your own AI filter. To create your own filter, you're going to click on this, My Styles, right here. And these are the styles that I've created. What I basically did was, as some of the art that I liked was generated, I put it aside. If you could get even just a few images that you like, skipping Fiverr, skipping Creative Fabrica, if you were to run some photographs you liked and design particular styles, like let's say I were to pick these 5 pictures right here, I could create a filter out of them. But the more that you can do, the better. I'm going to say Pro Style, carefully learn a style from reference images, and you can do up to 10 images. I say upload images, show all files. Let's say I want to do a new style from the work that I've done. I want to do some landscaping ones that I've already done. I like that. I'm going to open those and I'm going to upload more images. I like that one. This was a style that I did that I liked. So basically what I'm doing is I'm creating my own filter here. Now these are all places. So let me get rid of the food one. These are some of the images that ended up in my coloring book. So I'm going to pick this one, this one, this one, and this one. I'm putting all of these styles in, and it says what I'm doing is I'm training a pro style. Really what that means is I'm creating my own filter. And then I say train. It says enter your style name. Let's call this landscapes. And I'm going to say train. What it's going to end up doing is it's going to create a new set here. It's going to take 21 minutes. For now, here's my styles that are in already. And what I can do from here is I've got these styles, which I like. We will work on this one. That's the most like it. I will download that one. And I'll show you how to alter that in a minute. But for now, let's say I want to take one of my existing images and I want to turn it into a coloring book page. So I'm going to come to my avatars folder. I have this image. If you have it in 2D, it's simple. I'm leaving it in whimsical coloring. I want the style intensity to be less. I want it to look most like this. Now, generally what I would do is I would come in and I would use Paint, or I use Snagit for editing. And I would delete the one so that it's black and then it doesn't show up like that. And we're going to let it go ahead and turn that into a coloring book page. Another one I'm going to do is I'm going to show you when I do a 3D image. So I have my 3D avatars. Let's say I take this one, open, and again, same thing, generate. You can do this with photographs too. Like you saw, I did that with Paris, and I'm doing it with a 2D image. I'm doing it with a 3D image. Just to give you an idea, if you don't like any of the images, just keep regenerating until something pops up that you really, really like. But do keep in mind, whenever you generate anything with even an AI filter, it's going to basically mess up the image in some way, especially when it comes to hands. So always count the fingers on the hands if you ever use an AI filter. Always check to see what the damage is. Because look at this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. She's got 5 fingers on the top, which I can fix when it becomes a coloring book. So here's my character. Look, they put Paris in the background. And they did that because I still have this in the description over here. So if I were to delete this and just say create image, you can see here they tried to do a similar style. That one's probably closest. Look at that. They got Paris in the umbrella because I didn't take it out. That one is similar to mine. Look at her teeth though. So like I said, they tend to mess it up each time. That one's kind of fun for a coloring book image. It even did the background. And you can basically describe the background as well. Here we go. That's somewhat similar. That one, the nose is a little off. I just picked the one that I think I like the best. And I think I like that one. So we're going to go ahead and hit download. Now I've got some images. One of the things that I can do too is I can put this on the canvas by double clicking on it. Then I can remove the background, which is a really good thing to do because if you wanted to create a custom background for it that's separate from the image and then put the image on, you could simply do that. I've removed the background and I hit this little button right here to download it, and I just save it to my download folder. Now I'm going to show you how to turn this into a black and white coloring page, even though it's in color. Clean up your images. The next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and clean up these images and get rid of the color. I'm going to start with this one, which is a photograph, because again, if you have a photograph, then you can go ahead and change images. Now I use Snagit for editing. I don't know what you use, but with Snagit, once I got the image open, I will come over to image and I will click grayscale. And see how it just turned to black and white? Take it off, put it on. Start off with, you do grayscale in whatever photo editing software you're using. Then you switch over to color effects and look for the contrast. Histo contrast is the one in this. I go to 100% and click on it, and now it's black and white. You see that? Looks like a perfect coloring book page. And then I hit save, and this is in my downloads folder, and you can see it just turned. Same thing if I click this other one. I'm going to zoom out on this so you can see it. Grayscale. And then I hit histo contrast, and I can do different percentages, like maybe I don't want it completely white because I want to be able to see the outline of the sun. And if I did 100%, it disappears. So you can do a different percentage for that if you like. Again, I'm going to put it at 25%. Now I got some shading. And let's say I want to go ahead and get rid of some of that shading. I will show you how to edit it even further in Word. But for now, let's go back to these color ones that build on my own brand. Again, grayscale, color effects, contrast, maximize it. And look at that. I got a ton of black in that. Let me show you how to edit this now in Word. Here is my avatar that I've turned into a coloring book image. So you can see I'm continuing to build on my brand, doing my little greeting at the beginning of the book, show you some of my images that I've done. These are pictures that I have found on the internet that didn't cost anything. I have just gone ahead and I've modified them. Some of them I left the shade in because I just liked the way the shading looked. Again, here's another one of my images. I'm basically using it to promote a couple of things. I could do something that I want to do affiliate income with if I want to make a little bit of extra money from this coloring book. But I am also going to do a page at the very beginning promoting my newsletter, formatting your document. I'm going to show you some tricks about how to make this really, really easy. I'm probably going to go a bit fast, so you're probably going to have to watch it again. The standard size of a Word document is 8.5 by 11. And if I want an 8.5 by 11 image, great, I'm done. Let's see what that looks like. I will grab this Eiffel Tower picture that I did, and I'm going to throw it over here. That's the basics of what it would look like. Not too bad. I don't know about you, I like to add a frame around it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this and I'm going to click style right here. And then you could pick different framings. I like this one generally. This is the one that I've used in my coloring book. Gives it just a little bit of a frame, kind of shows you what the outline is. But there are other ones you could use. Maybe you want more of a 3D one. Maybe you want a big black line, a little line, just a touch of a line. When you get it like this, you're going to click on it like this, and you're going to click this little button that pops right here, layout options. You want to click this one, top and bottom. Because if you decide to put any words in this, then it's going to keep the words out of the picture. Also, by clicking that button, that allows you to move it anywhere on the screen. If I undo that right now, I would have a much harder time moving around. See, I'm trying to move it around and it's not working. But by clicking that top and bottom one, this allows me to move it around and I can find the center lines. So if I want to resize this picture, I can move it anywhere on the page that I want. As you can see, when the green crosses show up, that means it's dead center. Now, another thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and format this by changing the layout. And I'm going to come to margins and I want narrow margins. So narrow margins is going to kind of allow that this book edge right here is going to be where the coloring book is. And it just means I can make the picture bigger if I need to. So now I got it in the corner and I can resize this up like that. Again, if the size is not exactly perfect for an 8.5 by 11, you can basically put it wherever you want. See, this is not centered, but it's lined up with the margin and it's center crosswise. I can leave it there. I'm pressing Control Enter to get an extra page before, because that's where the blinker was. And then I'm going to do it at the end. I'm going to go ahead and move this over to this page. Remember, every page you do, you want a blank page before or after each one, because the back of each picture needs to be blank, simply because Amazon's paper is thin enough that when they color it, the color is going to bleed through to the next page. you're always going to go to the odd number page. But here's a little trick. I'm going to zoom this in until I just see 2 pages. I want it like this because maybe I want something over here. I would like to write something. Let me bring that back over to this page. But if I were to put anything over here, this is what I would want it to look like when the page is open. What you need to keep in mind is when it comes to publishing the first page, page number 1 is basically the front side of the first page in a book. This would be page number 2. This would be page number 3. If you want to make sure that you're getting your formatting right, then add an extra page so it looks the way you want it to look on the screen. But when the time comes to publish it, either add another extra page or delete that extra page. That way you always have your image on the right side of the book. Right now, this is page 1 and the Eiffel Tower is page 2, which means that it would not be this side of the book, it would be this side of the book. I need to make sure that all of my images are on an odd number page by the time I'm done. Now let me show you what happens when I grab another page. So I'm going to grab this one now, dropping it in, zooming it down. Look at, as I'm resizing it, it's not letting me move it at all, which is why I was saying that you need to click on this here, click that, and then now I can move it where I want. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this and I'm going to say format picture, and I get this nice little toolbar to the right. I'm going to click this last one here. It's the picture. I'm clicking picture corrections. You can see I have brightness and contrast here plus sharpness. As I do brightness, you can see the dark colors are starting to fade away until it's almost nothing. Now, those lines look kind of weak, so I'm going to come up to here to sharpness. I'm going to grab those and I'm going to strengthen those over, and I get all of the detail back. I can make this a little bit higher if I want, 95. I could put the sharpness 95 until you get something that you like. I've got the cutout down here, the line. I don't want that line. You can simply right click it, click on crop, move this line up, and then click off of it. And look at that. That sharp line is gone. So this comes in handy if I wanted to add it to another picture. Now let me show you a couple other ways that I would do this. Since I'm formatting the document, if I want the different size page, I would come to size over here. I would say more paper sizes. And basically I would change this to 8.5 by 8.5 because those are the 2 popular sizes. So now the pages are perfectly square. And again, this page is cutting off. So I would resize this until it's a size I like. And this is when you really want to get into being able to center it. Again, I like to do the style like this. That's just me. Everybody has their different style. I could try to make this look a little fatter by just dragging it this way. They look almost like normal people now, don't they? You can do that to create your style. Let me show you some other things that I've done. When I first started playing with this, I was looking at doing coloring book pages for Valentine's Day that were anti-Valentine's Day pictures. I did have design generate this background for me using those filters that I mentioned. I just said, give me the inside of a barn with a round window. I said, for this one, give me a cave with stalagmites. For this one, I said, give me a tree. I used the images from Creative Fabrica. I put it into design. I removed the background, and that meant that it covers over fairly well. Once you get the images in here and you click this little link, for this one I put it in front of the text so that way I can move it on to another picture. Then I just grabbed the little circle at the top and I just turned it to where I wanted it and then made it look like, look, he's sitting on the tree. And I did the same thing with this little guy right here. So if I want him over here, I will grab that little circle and just center him just like that. Now I have a fun coloring book image that I'm using a Creative Fabrica image for, adding your sales introduction to your coloring book. The last thing that we want to do is we want to go ahead and when we have done all of our images, put them into our Word document, you want to go ahead and you want to add your sales page. You want it to say something like, hey, come check out my newsletter. Again, page number 1 is going to be, when you open the book, it's going to be the page on the left-hand side. If you're looking at it, it's going to be the page on your right. But when I've got it facing you, it's the page on my left. So this is page number 1. You have to decide, what do I want on that page? You can also do the back of the page. How many pages do you want to intro? The thing you want to keep in mind is when you upload this to Amazon, Amazon will try to create a sample so people can see what's inside your book. You can create your own with print on demand. With Kindle, it's usually automatic. You can do a bigger sample because it usually tries to take about 10% of the first part of your book as a sample. But whatever you put on those first couple pages is your chance to get people's email whether or not they buy your book. So I would literally put on the front page, if you would like to download some free images that were not put into the book, then go sign up for my newsletter at www.mywebsite.com/newsletter. Now they follow that simple link to your website. And if they go to that page, you should have something set up to capture their email They download it instantly. When they're done coloring it, they probably love your coloring book. They probably go back and buy it. Either way, you've got their email. Now you can advertise to them any specials you're having when you make new books, new coloring books, new journals, new high content books. Anything that you make, you can now advertise to them. You've just expanded your market by doing that. You've just pushed your brand by creating coloring book images that are very much what you like to do. You've also created a passive income stream. Do that, put pictures in, make it cute, make it fun, make it something that they could color. Again, I would use my little image like this one here, although I'm going to put a different avatar, but just to give you an idea, I would put something like that. One of my favorites is the word art here. I will do this one usually, or this one. You can move this here. Then what you do is you come over here and you say text outline in black. You could type whatever you want. You can remove the shadow. You can add a shadow. Join my newsletter. Again, you can move this wherever you want. You can tilt it. There's all kinds of special features you could do. One of the things that I like to use from Shapes is this one right here. It's a little saying box. You can grab the corner. You can point it at your character. You come over here and you click on one of these styles like that. And this is basically just a text box. You can write whatever you want in it. And then you just reshape it. If you're familiar at all with Word and you've used it before, it's really simple and really easy to make a coloring book page. The wrap up. Just as a reminder, the steps that I said were first to figure out the pages and the size that you want to do in your coloring book. Then you want to get your images either from Creative Fabrica or Fiverr. Grab photographs that you have if it works for your brand. Let's say you have a restaurant. It could be pictures from events that you've done. It could be pictures of employees. If you are in the construction industry, maybe it's pictures of projects that you finished that you're very proud of. Go over to Design AI and create your own AI filter, or use one of the filters that's already there to change your photos into coloring book pages. The next one, clean up your images, fix them if you need to, take them to Paintbrush, take them to Snagit, try Photoshop. Next, you want to make sure that you format your document to the size you want, fix the margins, then start dropping your pictures in. Remember to click that little button on the side that lets you move your picture around. Click the style button if you want to give it a border. Always put your images on the odd number page. You might want to add an extra page, so then that way the image moves over, and if you put two pages next to each other, you get an idea of what the book will look like when the page is open. Then either delete that extra page or add another extra page towards the beginning. That way, all of your pictures are always on the odd number page in Word. When you upload it to Amazon to print it, it's going to be on the right side of the book when it's open and you're looking at it. Edit your images by doing the brightness and the sharpness. The last step is to add your own little sales intro to try to catch their newsletter information and give them a freebie. Make sure you set that up on your website as well later. That way, you will have promoted your brand. You will have expanded your market to beyond the physical location of your business by going online and by selling worldwide with your coloring book. You'll capture their email so that you can sell more to them when the time comes if there's something that you want to sell online, something that might go along with your business. And you've also created a passive income stream. I hope you guys like that information about how to create your own coloring book. Very simple, very easy. In the next video that I'm going to do, I am going to show you how to create a journal. That video will be even easier than this one, simpler, shorter. If you like that idea, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the notification bell because I'm back to work, so I can't publish as regularly as I did before. My side hustle is flight attendant. That's why I am building this brand under my flight attendant brand to kind of grow that passive income stream on the side, but also to show you guys how you can do it for your business. If you like all of that, let me know. Hit the like button. If you have any questions for me, put them in the comments below. I will always try to answer your questions. Right now, I'm small enough that I can answer any questions that you have. Other than that, see you in the next video. Ciao!